Hi, I'm Reagan from Paramount and I'm here to talk to you today about the upcoming renewal process for your property. Now this is going to look slightly different than previous years because of the changes of the Renters' Rights Act. I'm just going to run you through what that might mean. A member of our team will shortly be in touch with you to discuss the market value of the property and what rental value you might want to put forward on renewal. It's worth bearing in mind, under the changes, there'll be no other terms to be agreed as part of this renewal. So previously you would have been discussing the length of a term, whether it's going to be 12 months, everything rolls now. So the only thing that is up for discussion is the rent. The way we now put this up is by serving the tenant a Section 13 notice, and this tells them that the rent is going to be increased and it gives them 2 months notice of that. The tenant does have the right now to apply to a tribunal and have that rent amount questioned and valued. And if it's found to be correct, then it will be upheld. If not, they'll suggest a rent that they feel is fair or market value. But it's worth noting that it might take 6 months, 12 months, we're not quite sure at the moment, but it's going to be a lengthy process to get those through tribunal. While that process is ongoing, your rent amount stays the same. Because of this, it is in everybody's interest that we can agree a rent with a resident and that make sure that that is a fair, a market rent driven, it's market driven, and that the resident has the best opportunity to accept it and to move forward. If you want to regain possession of your property, then there are some other changes that you'll need to be aware of under the Renters' Rights Act. You can regain possession of your property, contrary to popular belief, and we've had all sorts of questions such as, do we have to sell our property to the tenant? No, everything is fairly straightforward. You just need to be prepared. And by that, I mean the time frame that you're working to has to be considered. So the reasons that you can give notice via a Section 8 to a resident to leave a property would be if you needed to sell the property, if you wanted to move back in, and if you needed to refurbish it. There are some other grounds. These are the three that are most likely to affect our portfolio. Each one of those grounds has a 4-month notice period. So if you do want to take back possession of your property, you need to build that in and you need to be planning slightly further ahead than you might have been beforehand. If you think you fall into one of those criteria and you might want to take your property back, I would advise giving us a call and we can talk you through your options and what this might need to look like for you. For example, there's other things to consider. For example, selling a property. If you go to the sales market and you go onto the sales market and you serve notice to your resident, you are excluded from returning to the rental market for 12 months, which means that we really need to be dealing with serious sellers and vendors who are going to sensibly price their property with a real intention to sell. Otherwise it could, come back to bite you. So any other questions regarding the renewal process, do let us know. Otherwise, as I say, one of our colleagues will be in touch to discuss next steps with you and what we feel a fair renewal rent might be for the property.